Hi there, my name is John Morrison and I'm excited to announce the launching of a new initiative that I think is going to help a lot of people. As a pastor, I was constantly sending people out, telling them to be ambassadors of Jesus or missionaries in our culture, Great Commission evangelists. We call it all kinds of things. But I couldn't figure out why that as we're sending them out, they're not coming back with any great stories of how they've done it. Now, there are many reasons for this, of course. But one of the reasons that I've learned is that my people were doubting whether or not any of the stuff that I was talking about was true. I realized that they were coming to church every Sunday, singing songs about the resurrection of Jesus, hearing sermons from the Bible, and yet the whole time wondering, did any of this really happen? Is any of this true? The reason why I know this is the case is because, if I'm honest, that's part of my story as well. As a pastor, I went through a season of doubt where I was questioning the faith that I was called to pass on to others. I made some tough decisions as a result of those doubts. They involved selling everything I had, moving to a whole nother continent, and to get more education. There I discovered resources, the discipline of Christian apologetics that liberated me to be certain about Christianity and emboldened to share my faith with others. The truth is, I am most bold and courageous and outspoken about my faith when I am fully convinced that it is true and good for the world. Once I was trained to be ready to give an answer for the reason for the hope that we have in Jesus, I truthfully couldn't stop talking about it. And one of the things that I want to introduce to you is this thing I've called Without a Doubt Workshop. It's a 2-day training event which goes through the 6 biggest questions I've found that people wrestle with inside and outside of the church. It's not that we get asked all the time about how many animals were inside of the ark or why we can't mix our fabrics in the Old Testament. I found that most objections to Christianity are rooted in these 6 major questions, and I love walking people through it. The first one is this: is there any evidence for God's existence? Secondly, how do you trust an old book like the Bible? 3, how does Christianity relate to science? Things like miracle claims. How do we make sense of that? Fourthly, how do Christians believe that there's only one way to God in light of so many religions? 5, and it's a big one, why does God allow so much suffering and evil? And 6, can you defend the biblical definition of sexuality, God's design for marriage? I think this is so important, this is so needed, and I believe that it's needed in your church. So thank you so much for just considering it. If you're hearing all this and you're thinking, okay, that sounds like a good idea, how do I get involved? Just take a look at a sample schedule below and we'll work out some details. Just contact me and we'll talk about a way to craft this thing so to make it the most beneficial for you and your congregation. Thanks so much for your time today. I hope you have a great one, and I look forward to hearing from you in the future.